Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dusty Young Christmas Special. Right now, let's hear it for the world's favourite Irish comedian. It's Dusty Young!
Don't stop. Well, hello there to you all, and you know, I'm thrilled to see you at Christmas, and may all your troubles be drink-related. Oh, it's very cold tonight, you know. I saw a brass monkey outside looking for a welder. But do you know what I'm going to tell you? I love Christmas, and I love it when it snows because it makes my garden look as good as everyone else's. Well, wait till I tell you. I was coming out of the house this morning, and Seamus, my next door neighbour, he was clearing the snow off his driveway, so I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm getting the snow cleared before it melts." He's thick. He said, "Listen, I'm papering me front room for Christmas, and it's the same size as your front room. How many rolls of wallpaper did you buy to decorate?" I said, "I got 12. When I saw him a few days after, he said, "I've got 3 rolls left." I said, "Yes, so have I." But his Alsatian dog wasn't very well, so he took him to the vet on Christmas Eve and said, "He's bumping into everything, the Christmas tree, the furniture." So the vet lifted up the dog and looked him straight in the face and said, "The poor thing is cross-eyed. I'll have to put him down." Seamus said, "Because he's cross-eyed?" The vet said, "No, because he's too heavy." And I hope you enjoy all them old films on television over Christmas. Aren't they great? I watched an old film last week. It was Flash Gordon. Yeah, he's 75 now. They just call him Gordon. Listen to this. Murphy came out of the pub Christmas Eve drunk and was sick all over a jog and said to me, "My God, I don't remember eating that." Two Irish lads, Murphy and Casey, spent all their money on the run-up to Christmas on drink and didn't have the fare home to Ireland for Christmas, so they decided to rob a bank. Mick said, "I'll write out a note saying, 'Give me all the money in the safe,' and that way they won't know where the two Irish lads that live round the corner." So Christmas Eve, they put on their balaclavas and went into the bank with a sawn-off shotgun and stuck the gun in the teller's face and said, "Give him the note to read." Teller said, "You're them two Irish lads who live round the corner." Mick said, "How'd you know?" He said, "You each had just sawn off the wrong end of the shotgun." Christmas morning, 2 Dublin lads out in the lake in the middle of the Phoenix Park in the boat. And the boatkeeper said, "Come in, number 9, your time is up." And then he looked and said, "Are you having trouble, number 6? An awful man. Paddy said to his wife, "Is me dinner ready?" And she said, "I plucked and stuffed the turkey. You've only got to kill it and stick it in the oven." But the next door neighbours went very well off and all. They couldn't afford a turkey, so they bought their budgie a chest expander. Some lad came to our door last week and said, "Will you have an old age pensioner for Christmas?" My wife said, "No, we're having turkey as usual." Oh, Mary's husband Mickey's been off work all over Christmas with a broken flask. He says work is the curse of the drinking classes. Mary went into the butcher's and said, would you give me a sheep's head and leave the eyes in? It'll see us over Christmas. What do you call 4 sheep tied to a lamppost in County Galway? A leisure centre. The TV detective man called at Murphy's house and asked to see his television licence, and he showed it to the man. He said, this is last year's. Murphy said, well, we're watching last year's programmes. Paddy and Mary decided to go away for Christmas, and they went to the Canary Islands, and they haven't seen a canary. Next time, Paddy wants to go to the Virgin Islands. Paddy got up Boxing Day in the Canary Islands and said to Mary, it's 90 degrees in the shade, so today we'll stay in the sun. Do you know what she bought him for a present to take away with him? A blow-up dartboard. That's stupid. Well, he was checking in at the airport and he said to the girl, I want that bag in London, that bag in Amsterdam and that bag in Florida. The check-in girl said, we can't do that. He said, you done it last year. I was walking across O'Connell Bridge there the other day and there was a fella there selling watches. I said, did they tell the time? He said, no, you have to look at them. Listen, wait till I tell you. Paddy got invited to an acid house party and you had to bring your own dope and he took Seamus. But his wife is thick. She started feeding her hens chocolate and hopes they'll start laying Easter eggs. But if you're going to Dublin for Christmas, they got lovely lights in Dublin for Christmas. Red, amber, green. Now wait till I tell you, a big shop was broken into on Christmas Eve in Dublin and the thieves took everything but hairspray and contraceptives. The police are looking for a bald-haired Catholic. But little Seamus was a devil, you know. He stole his mammy's contradictive pills and replaced them with Anodin tablets. She's got 13 kids, but never had a headache in her life. I always ask myself questions like, what do gardeners do when they retire? Well, as they say in Belfast, there's only 13 shoplifting days left to Christmas. Sure, do you know what I'm going to tell you? Shoplifting has got that bad in Belfast. The local Catholic church now has a confessional for 5 items or less. I'll tell you a funny story. Paddy went into the garden and fired his gun in the air and told his kids that Santa Claus had committed suicide. He gave his son an empty cardboard box and told him it was an Action Man deserter. Now always remember one thing, a turkey is just for Christmas, it's not for life. Mary, Paddy's wife, went into the butcher's the other day and said, what's the turkey like? He said, well, it's like a chicken, only a lot bigger. Little Seamus, he was very unlucky. He had a rocking horse and it died. You can always tell it's getting near Christmas in Ireland because the turkeys are really looking forward to it. Can you tell me, which birds are never hungry at Christmas? Turkeys, because they're always stuffed. Stupid, isn't it? What do you get a train driver for Christmas? Platform shoes. Now, what do you call a man who gets a toolbox for Christmas? Andy. Listen, I can't afford to send Christmas cards to my friend this year, so I've written them all a letter to tell them that. So I won't be sending the card to Mr. and Mrs. Singer and their daughter Carol, or to Mr. and Mrs. Ringer and their daughter Belle. And I certainly won't be sending one to Mr. and Mrs. Key and their son Little Don. Listen, why do reindeers have fur coats? Because they look stupid in plastic Macs. Why do kamikaze pilots wear crash helmets? And another thing, is crazy paving all it's cracked up to be? Listen, what are small and round and creep round the kitchen at Christmas time? Mince pies. You hear about the silly Irish fairy who swallowed some Christmas decorations? She got tinselitis. Now, what do you call those crumbly little things on sticks that you get at Christmas? Grandparents. Now, don't you all sit out there looking at me like that, sure. They're all silly Christmas Irish jokes. If they were clever, you wouldn't laugh. Right. Knock, knock. Who's there? Mary. Mary who? A Merry Christmas to you. Did you hear about the poor Irish snowman? His nose started running when his cold went away. And Santa Claus went to see a psychiatrist because he stopped believing in himself. And what was the best present that Phil Collins ever got for Christmas? His drum kit, because it took some beating. What do you call a reindeer with no eyes? No idea. What is Rudolph's favourite group? Simply Red. And he said to Mary, what do you want for Christmas? She said, a divorce. He said, I wasn't thinking of spending that much. Do you know what Seamus sent to his ma and da for Christmas? A mirror. And when his father opened it and looked at his own reflection, he nearly died. He said, Mary, Seamus has aged since he went to England. Well, she looked over her shoulder into the mirror and said, well, I'm not surprised. Look at the old bag he's living with. Sean got his brother Seamus a pair of water skis for Christmas, and he's gone off now looking for a lake with a slope. Patty's wife Mary said she wants an animal skin coat for Christmas, so he bought her a donkey jacket. Last Christmas, you know what he bought her? A fur outfit, a ferret, a trap and a gun. But you know what I think? I think Santa Claus was Irish, and you know why I think that? Well, every house has 2 doors and 8 windows, and he comes down the chimney. Christmas morning, Paddy went down to the pub and the lad next to him ordered a vodka with a lemon in it. So he ordered a pint of Guinness with a potato in it. Little Sean came into the pub one day. The barman said, what'll you have? And Sean says, a pint of Guinness. The barman said, that's £2.50. Sean said, hang on, I'm not paying you for that. You asked me to have a drink. That's an invitation to have a drink in Ireland. Barman says, drink your drink, get out and don't come back here. 2 days later, Sean walked back into the bar. Barman says, get out. I barred you 2 days ago. Sean said, not me. I've never been to this pub in my life. I only came in for Christmas. Barman said, well, you must have a double. He said, thanks, make it a double brandy. They were all stood in the bar Christmas morning. Paddy said to Mick, the doctor's giving me pills, I have to take them for the rest of my life, but he's only giving me 4. And something else, they were supposed to give me strength, and you know I can't get the lid off the bottle. John says, Mick, I got married at Christmas, but I never made love to my wife before we got married, did you? He said, I don't know, what's your wife's first name? He said, I can remember my wedding day, look, it was yesterday, and you know, if it was tomorrow, I'd cancel it. There are 2 things that make an unhappy marriage, a husband and wife. This Irish lad went to Australia at Christmas with his wife, and they were lying on the beach, and she was a big girl, and the lifeguard came over and said, would you get your wife to move over, the tide wants to come in. Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating an apple pie. He put in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, what's a plum doing in an apple pie? My mother brought me 3 socks for Christmas because I told her that since I started going to weight training, I'd grown another foot. Well, don't forget to have a little drink for Christmas. Wait till I tell you. This Dublin fella, Paddy, used to go into the pub every night, 6 o'clock, and ordered 3 double whiskies. He'd done this for weeks. Barbara said to him one day, is this some sort of ritual? No. He said, no. I've got 2 brothers, Sean and Seamus. They went to America 3 or 4 years ago, and we promised each other we'd drink each other's health at a certain time every day, and that's what I'm doing. That's wonderful. Well, then one day he came in and ordered 2 whiskies. The barman said, has one of your brothers died? He said, no, I've given up drink for Christmas. What'll I tell you? Paddy went to buy his daughter a Barbie doll for Christmas, and the woman in the shop said, do you want a normal Barbie? That's $29.99. Or you can have the skydiving Barbie doll. That's £190.99. Because with that you get the flying suit, the parachute, and the helmet. Or you can have the divorced Barbie doll. Now that is £490.99. And he said, why is that dearer than the rest? Because with that you get Ken's house, Ken's bank account, Ken's car, and the 2 children. But I have to tell you, Paddy and Mary split their Christmas chores evenly. She signs the cards and he signs the cheques. So what's new? You know, Christmas is a time when Santa comes down the chimney and your money goes down the drain. Do you remember the time when a stocking could hold all that a child wanted for Christmas? Now a warehouse couldn't hold what my kids want for Christmas. Jesus was not born in Ireland because they couldn't find 3 wise men or a virgin. A little Catholic boy said to his little Jewish pal, our priest knows more than your rabbi. And the Jewish boy said, well, you tell him everything. The little Catholic boy said to his Jewish friend, on Christmas Eve we all gather round the tree and sing cartels. And on Christmas morning, we open our presents and then go to Mass. The Jewish lad said, on Christmas morning, me dad takes us all down to the warehouse and opens the doors and shows us all the empty shelves, and we go to Tenerife. 3 Cork lads who were a bit mean went to midnight Mass, and the priest says, as it's Christmas, I want you all to put a £5 on the plate. Paddy says, I can't afford £5. That's nearly 3 points. What we do? Jamie says, well, tell you what, Paddy, you faint and me and Mick will carry you out. Listen to this. Sean went into a flower shop and said, give me 2 dozen roses for my wife Mary. She's just had twins. And the woman said, do you want the vase for them? No, we've got a pram. He was posting the Christmas present off to his daughter in America, and the poster said, "It's too heavy, you'll have to put another stamp on." He said, "If I do that, it'll make it even heavier." Now listen, if you're lying in bed listening to this, turn over now. Wait till I tell you. Paddy went into the pub Christmas Eve drunk and said, "Everyone on this side of the pub are Egypts and everybody on this side are Gurriers." Mick said, "I'm not an Egypt." He said, "Well, get over there with the Gurriers then." There's two fellas came to Paddy's door Christmas morning and said, "Would you like to be a Jehovah's Witness?" Paddy said, "Sure, I never even saw the accident." Paddy and Mary were having a baby christened in the church Christmas Eve. And the priest said to Mary, "What are you going to call the little lad?" She said, "It's a little girl, you're holding me tum." The priest said, "One of our parishioners, Helen Hunt, has found a purse with some money and personal belongings in it, so whoever lost the purse can go to Helen Hunt for it." Paddy went to confession Christmas and said, "Bless me, Father, for the last 3 years I've been stealing timber from my employer." And the priest says, "Well, for your penance, I want you to make the Stations of the Cross." Paddy said, "If you've got the plans, Father, I've got the wood." Mary Burke, 45 years of age, went into confession and said, "Bless me, Father, on Monday I slept with Sean O'Reilly. On Tuesday, I slept with Paddy Murphy. And on Wednesday, I slept with Seamus O'Toole." And he said, "Well, go to the corner shop and get yourself a large lemon and suck it on the way home." She said, "Will that cleanse me of my sins?" He said, "No, it'll take the smug look off your face." Mick was saying to the priest one day, he said, "In the pub," he said, "all those young girls coming in with tight jeans and short blouses give me an awful bad thoughts. Is this a sin?" He said, No, it doesn't matter where you get your appetite as long as you have your dinner at home." You know, my wife has had her credit card stolen at Christmas, and I've not reported it yet because the guy who stole the card is spending less than her. Aren't them television shows awful, especially that Coronation Street? You see that Toya got kidnapped and her parents rang the police on Monday. They never turned up until Wednesday. Oh, I went to see that film in the cinema the other day called The 10 Commandments, and before it started, the couple behind me had broken 3 of them. Little Paddy went into the shop Christmas Eve and said to the shopkeeper, "Give me a mousetrap. I'm in a hurry. I have to catch a bus." Shopkeeper said, "Well, we haven't got one as big as that." Oh, he's an awful man for drinks. You know, he's that many empty beer bottles in the back garden after Christmas. It's put £200 on the price of his house. You know what I'm going to tell you? Mary wanted a diamond ring for Christmas, so Paddy threw a brick through the jeweller's window. The next thing she wanted was a fur coat, so he threw a brick through the furrier's. The next thing she wanted was new boots. He said, "Do you think I made of bricks?" Mary said Sean died 3 days before Christmas, and he died in his sleep, and he doesn't know he's dead yet. And you know, when he wakes up, the shock will kill him. And the day of the funeral, it was very, very foggy, and the hearse took a wrong turn. And you know, he nearly ended up being buried in Asda. Our local Chinese restaurant had a hold-up last week, and a man with a mask went in and demanded all the money in the till. And the little Chinese fella says, "To take away?" To tell you something funny, Paddy and Mick and the whole crowd of lads got snowed in the local pub, and they're digging themselves out with teaspoons. Paddy was walking around the other day with only one Wellington boot on. His pal said, "Why are you doing that?" Paddy said, "I heard on the weather forecast on the television that they said there'd be 1 foot of snow." Do you know, they keep telling you on the television that when you're going out at night to wear something white. Well, that backfired on Murphy. Last week he got knocked down by a snowplough. Now, there's a thing that always puzzled me. How does a snowplough driver get to work? Oh, do you know what I'm going to tell you? The Irish government have banned the sale of alphabet soup. They said it contains BSE. I tell you what, it was so cold last night, I saw Murphy's dog frozen to a tree. Paddy took this letter into making a poem. He said, "This is a letter from me brother. Is that a noy or a no?" Paddy said, "It's a noy." Oh, thank God, I thought he'd shot himself. But look what the letter says. "Not getting any better, come home quick." He says, "No, that's not getting any better, come home quick." Did you know Paddy had an awful stutter? He did. And God love him. He went into the bookies one day and said, The bookie said, "It's Boxing Day racing. I'm run off me feet. You backed a 7-2 winner at Haydock." Paddy said, "No." He said, Bookie said, "You backed a 4-1 winner at Weatherby." He said, "No." He said, The bookie said, "I can't stand here all day. There's £20. Now get lost." Paddy went out to his pal and said, "Sean, that bookie is tick. I just backed me steamroller into his BMW and he's giving me £20. But listen, it's very hard for him to try and chat up a girl, you know, because of his stutter. And he met a girl in a disco last week and she had a stutter as well. And he said, "Hello," he said, my name is Peter and I'm not a saint." And the girl said, "Well, my name is Mary and I'm not a very good dancer." Talk about being tick. He thinks that safe sex is not giving the girl your name and address. Oh, I'll tell you the funniest thing. We had one of them faith healers came to the village after Christmas, and Paddy, who had a bad speech impediment, took his pal Seamus, who had bad legs and walked on crutches, hooked him up to be cured. The faith healer said, "The two of you go behind that screen and pray sincerely that the good Lord will see fit to cure you of your afflictions." When they were behind the screen for about, 2 minutes apiece, said, "Seamus, throw away those crutches and walk tall and straight. Paddy, you dip your index finger in the holy water and run it across your lips and speak to me. Tell me what's happened to Seamus." He's falling on the backside. That's a good one. Paddy got a new Omega watch for Christmas and he went to Spain for the new year and he had it stolen by a Spanish fella. I suppose it was Adios Omega. I'll tell you a little story. Paddy went to the gypsy to have his fortune told and she said, "You will be very poor and unhappy until you're 50. Paddy said, "What then?" He said, "Well, then you'll have gotten used to it." He bought a lottery ticket and won £3 million. But the lottery man said, we've not enough money to pay out in the one go, but we'll give you £1 million today, I'll give you another million on the Wednesday, and I'll give you another million at the weekend. And he said, "I'm not having it all messed about. Give me me pound back." He was walking home with Sean the other night in the Phoenix Park alongside the duck pond. He said, "God, that water level's low tonight. It's only come up to the duck's knees." He went into Marks and Spencer's in Dublin and asked the girl for a shirt. He said, "I'm a medium." She said, "Can you put me in touch with me granny?" Paddy's cousin from the country said, "Did you get that turkey I sent you?" He said, "Yes, it tasted lovely." His cousin said, "That was a very specially trained turkey. It spoke 6 languages." Paddy said, "Well, I could have said something then." But you know, my mother never liked any of the girls I brought home to meet her. She just hated every one. And then I found a girl who looked and acted just like my mother and brought her home. Guess what? Me father didn't like her. He said to me, "Where did you get her from? She's knock-kneed, cross-eyed, no teeth, fat and ugly." I said, "There's no need to whisper, Da. She's deaf as well." So she's what we call in Ireland a two-bagger. You have to put a bag over your head in case the bag over her head bursts. How are you, Mary? Is it yourself? I've only just seen you. Japers. How many kids have you got now? 12? What else are you good at? You don't need a babysitter. It's a shepherd you need. There was a woman lived 3 doors from us in Dublin, and she had 8 kids, and you know what? They all grew up and became firemen. And one day she shouted up the stairs, "Who wants an egg for breakfast?" And they all said, "Me, ma, me, ma, me, ma, me, ma." Did you hear about the Irish cannibal who was 8 before he was 7? 2 cannibals out in the jungle and came across this lovely, lovely girl who was lost. Little boy said, "Daddy, let's take her home and eat her." And Daddy said, "I have a better idea. Let's take her home and eat your ma." Big Seamus from County Mayo went up to the farming show in Dublin on Boxing Day and said to the man in charge, "I've come to see the new prize bull." The man said, "Well, he's back in his shed now for the night. Can you come back tomorrow?" He said, "No, I'm going to Galway tomorrow. I'm taking my wife and 13 kids camping in Galway." He said, "How many kids have you got?" He says, 13. He said, "Will you hang on there? I'll bring the bull out to have a look at you." Do you know what I'm going to tell you? Seamus and Sean were great friends, and they went off to Tenerife for a Christmas holiday. And Sean was walking along the beach trying to attract the girls. Seamus said, "You won't pull any girls like that. Put a potato down your swimming trunks and that'll make them stop and look." 10 minutes later, Sean said, "I put the potato down my trunks and I still can't get a woman." Sean says, "You're tick. You're meant to put the potato in the front of your trunks, not the back." In the old folks' home in Dublin, Christmas Eve, little Mary O'Toole, 85 years of age, said to her pal Bridie, "You know, tonight, about 9 o'clock, I'm going to do a streak through the men's ward." And at 9 o'clock, she went through the men's ward without a stitch on her. And Paddy and Mick, who were both 90, were watching television and saw her. Paddy said, "Mick, was that Mary O'Toole?" He said, "It was." He said, "What was she wearing?" "I don't know, but it needs ironing." A Christmas rhyme for you. It was Christmas Day in the harem, and the eunuchs were standing there, watching the lovely maidens combing their golden hair, when in walked the harem bouncer, and in a loud voice he calls, "What do you want for Christmas, boys?" And they all shouted, "Viagra!" I tell you what, them Viagra tablets are strong. If you swallow them too slow, you get a stiff neck. And they taste pepperminty. Don't they, Sean? Listen, did you read in the paper the other day that cargo ship carrying a cargo of Viagra tablets to Ireland sank off the coast of Newfoundland on Wednesday, and on Thursday the Titanic came up? Here, he said, "Paddy, would you kiss me under the mistletoe?" He said, "Mary, I wouldn't kiss you under chloroform." "Ah, you're an awful man. Will you love me when I'm old and grey?" He said, "I do." Little Seamus, 12 years of age, said to his daddy, I have me eye on a bike. He said, well, keep your eye on it. You won't get your backside on it. I got this letter from me ma, you know. We call her the Olympic Flame because she never goes out. She sits at home all day watching television. If it wasn't for Emmerdale Farm, she'd get no fresh air at all. She said, dear son, I'm writing this slow as I know you can't read fast. You've now been in England 3 weeks and we thought you were still in the lavatory. Since you left, your father has become a sex maniac and tries to make love to me every chance he gets. Please excuse the wobbly writing. Your sister, who suffers from pimples, went to a dance last week and it was £3 a head to get in. It cost her £37. But she won a spot prize. Now, your other sister had a new baby last week and we don't know if it's a boy or a girl, so we can't say if you're an aunt or an uncle. The undertaker called on Tuesday and said, if the last instalment on your granddad's funeral isn't paid, up he comes. Your grandmother, who's been bedridden all her life and twice in a taxi, took a feed of Epsom salts and came down the stairs for the first time today. The funeral was at 2 o'clock. Now, you won't know the house when you go back home because we've moved to a new one. You know something? The walls in the new house are so thin, I opened the oven door last Sunday and the neighbour was dipping his bread in our gravy. He's a dentist and she is a manicurist, and all day long they fight tooth and nail. Your Uncle Paddy tried to commit suicide last week by hanging himself with an elastic band. He died of concussion. He lost his job last week. He was working as a train driver and got sacked for overtaking. Your brother Sean went to the Olympic Games with 2 of his friends and they took wooden poles and barbed wire and said they were the Irish fencing team. They went in for the tug of war contest and you know what? They were disqualified for pushing. Oh, I must tell you before I forget, they got a brand new fire engine in the village and they said to keep the old one for false alarms. I'm waiting to put the cat out, but he hasn't come in yet. Oh, listen, I went to the doctor's on Tuesday and your father came with me. The doctor put a small glass tube in my mouth and told me not to speak for 20 minutes. Your father offered to buy it from him. Oh, he's lazy. I asked him to dig the garden for me and he's turning it over in his mind. Do you know he got 3 of them gyros last week in the DSS by mistake and he thought he'd been sacked? He is now president of the Unemployed Association in Ireland. If the Dole gets you a job, they'll fight the case for you. Your Uncle Paddy with the 2 wooden legs is a night watchman in a factory that went on fire last week. They saved the factory, but your uncle was burned to the ground. The insurance company wouldn't pay out. They said he hadn't a leg to stand on. It was terrible on Tuesday. We had a gas leak, but it's okay now. Your father put a bucket under it. Oh, I have to go, son. The bucket's fallen over and the gas is leaking all over the floor. Listen, if you don't get this letter, let me know and I'll send you another one next week. Do you know, me mammy and daddy have been happily married for 21 years. Mind you, they've been married for 43 years. Oh, Listen, my brother went for a job at the local farm and said, "Can you use me on the land?" He said, "Ah, no, we got special stuff for that," he said. So he offered him a job picking potatoes, but he said, "You'd be better getting the fella who planted them, because he'd know where they are then." Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for coming. Can I wish you all a very, very happy Christmas, and may you wake up on Boxing Day without a hangover. And a final thought, may all the credit card companies lose your address. So, a very happy Christmas to you all, and a very, very good New Year. I'm off. Bye-bye.